here to inspire you. Now, before many of today's stars held microphones, there was a gentleman who captured the soul of many Ugandans, inspiring generations and definitely setting trends as well as defining an era. Now, to many, the music was listened to. To me, I lived it. And his music inspired many. His music told stories of many. For example, that very one that has just played, that is Soko Munonye. Fun fact, Soko Munonye was the very song that my singer used to search out my husband on my introduction day while I introduced him to my parents. And the gentleman that we have in studio today is a legacy legendary musician, honored to be hosted in, on Good Morning Uganda at UBC. But also, I thank God that I get the opportunity to call him Dad. Once again, Good Morning Uganda, and welcome with me, Diplock Segawa. No, I don't know if I'm supposed to call you Dad
no,
or Diplock. It's quite conflicting for me.
No, Diplock Segawa.
Okay.
We'll be professional.
Okay, I hope I'm able to get into it because I do not know how to address you by your name.
Sure.
But Diplock Segawa is a recipient of a Heroes Day Medal decorated by the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And I'll start with this question. But before I even engage into the questions, please be a part of the show. 0709 602 592. That is a WhatsApp number to which you can share your opinion, ask questions, because there is a lot of knowledge seated in studio with us that you can learn to, especially if you are a creative. Now, Mr. Diplock Segawa, you started music as a young man.
Yes.
That is about how old?
We grew up in a musical home.
Yes.
So something good. You set out the direction you want to have in your career, especially at the formative stages. After 3 years, you would know your path and what inspires you to offer to the society. So I did know what I wanted.
Or you knew,
yes,
and you worked towards it.
And I have always been working towards it.
That is very rare in our
for the
generation.
last 43 years.
That is very rare because many times, many of us start and you figure it, you wing it along the way, but it's inspiring that you knew what you wanted,
yes,
you've chased it, and you're achieving it at
sure,
that. Now, you started from a family setting,
yes,
but along the way, you are now on a solo career.
Of course,
What
yes,
inspired you to stay on the course, especially as a solo career?
As a solo career, I was a songwriter.
Right.
I started songwriting way back in 1978 when I was a student at Masaka Technical Institute. By then, today it's called in Mutesa One Royal University. That's when I first wrote my own song. But earlier on, I had started translating songs, gospel songs from English to Luganda from a book of sacred songs and solos. And I was inspired by different artists abroad and locally. So I have always been, I've been inspired by the surroundings, the way we grew up, the way the country was at that time. So I started getting concerned about the well-being of society, justice, social justice, and humanity as a whole. So I started writing songs that depicted what was happening in society.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we have Diplock Segawa in studio with us, and we are speaking to a gentleman who has 43 years of experience. So that means it's not just a show to watch, but one to learn from, especially if you are a creative. Engage 0709 602 592. Now you come from a background that is musical.
Yes.
Take us a bit into that journey. How did it inspire you? How did it start with family? You shared a bit of it at the start, but now tell us the detail.
Okay, I'll be very brief because it is always very difficult to share an experience of nearly 60 years.
Right.
But we grew up with a musical father. He was a teacher, and he was always conducting choirs in the churches and at school. So we grew up listening to songs at home. And as some of us who are in the last batch of the family grew up listening to our elders, siblings that is, who were already in colleges, in secondary schools. And one of my elder brother was studying in Lubiri Secondary School at that time in 1968. He came here at UBC. During that time, it was Radio Uganda. he had come for a debate, but then he knew that his family was already singing. So he talked with the people, the authorities here, that I have a family, but they are singing. If you could come and listen to them, and we do a program. So to cut the whole story short, they sent officers from the UBC to come and audition us, and they taught us how to use the microphone. So after about 2-3 weeks, they sent us a van, and we were here in the studios of Radio Uganda at that time. So when we did our first recording, they were impressed, and they started guiding us. And every 3 months, we would come and perform a program for 30 minutes, which was already aired on Sundays. After that, we were taken to UTV, which is UBC TV now.
Right, yeah.
It was called UTV at Nakasero from 1972 onwards until up to 1991.
Right.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful...
As a family choir, yes.
Right. Now that is 60 years of experience, 60 years of singing, 60 years of a lot of achievements. Let's look at some of the proudest moments. Well, the 60 years, 43 years of your career.
Yes, my career.
And the other 20-something years
yes.
as a family.
As a
But
family.
now as Diplock Segawa, what are some of the proudest moments you can think of and cherish?
Okay. And cherish. They are many, but let me put forward a few of them. First of all, 1992, I was invited in State House and performed before the president, and he was impressed with our works.
Right.
He called me, we talked, and he said, the songs you are singing are the ones Uganda needs, because they were about social justice, human rights, and hard working. Then another moment was in 1994. It was in 1994 when we were having a festival in Framlingham College in UK, and then I was selected to have a church service with Her Majesty the Queen in Westminster Abbey. And I was ferried in a coach. We were ferried about 150 of us, although in the festival we are over 10,000. We were selected about 150 to 300 in different coaches, and we had a service at Westminster Abbey. And at the service, which was graced by Her Majesty the Queen, we were selected, again a few of us, and we were told that we are going to have high tea with Her Majesty the Queen at Lambeth Palace. So that was an opportunity, it's a highlight. And then when I was given a medal by His Excellency the President recognizing my works, contribution to the country, artistically, I felt proud, and I like it. And then the people of Uganda who have accepted to listen to my songs and they use them, especially the one Soko Mnonye, because it has stayed on for 43 years, and that's, I give the credit to the people of Uganda who have accepted that song to be used at different functions, at introduction ceremonies. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, one thing for sure is that, like I mentioned at the start, that I've lived this music and I've listened to most of my father's songs. I enjoy most of them. I know them lyrically. And many times as I grew up, I started wondering what his creative idea was, what inspired him creatively. But today has also given me the chance to ask him directly and on national TV, what inspires you when you're creating music?
I look at the people who around me in the country or in Africa or in the whole world. I always think about peace. I always think about hard work, and I always think about people getting together to achieve what they want. So can we call it social justice? I always think about that.
Right.
Yes.
And the sound, what inspires the sound?
Oh, the sound, that one is God-given, because I always come up with a sound, the tune, without necessarily concentrating on saying that this is the tune I want, or these are the lyrics I want. But when I start the song and I write, sometimes I start with the lyrics, sometimes I start with the tune.
Yes.
And I always write, I know the solfa notations in the music, so when I compose a song, I write the staff notations. In the earlier days, I always used to move with a pen and paper because I would write the solfas or the words, the lyrics of the song. But these days, you have improved the situations. I can always record with a phone.
Right.
Yeah. So there are different situations. And thank you for that question. Because I remember one time in 1984, I had a friend who had visited me, and as she was bidding farewell to me, she said, God's grace be with you. That word, those words went into my heart, and as I was going up Nakasero Hill, I started, God's grace be with you, God's grace be with you. A song was created because of the inspiration from the words from my visitor.
Right.
Yes.
You've talked about some of the sound being God-given.
Yes.
And I know there's a story behind Soko Mnonye. It's one of those unique sounds that was God-given. Take us a bit through the story of how Soko Mnonye was created.
Okay. Soko Mnonye was created in Masaka. I had visited Mr. Algobe, may God rest him in peace. He was one of my funders in the beginning at the formation of my musical career. So I had visited him to get support for the group, and I found him going to banana plantations. And so I just boarded his Mercedes-Benz and we went to the banana plantations. Most of the time I've grown up in city. So when we drove in the middle of the banana plantation, he left me in the car and went where they park the trucks park the bananas.
Yes.
So I was left in the car for about 2-3 hours. And as it was getting late, I was worried. And I said to myself, Kansoke munonye. So I went out of the Soko munonye, watude soko munonye. I pulled up the pen and write, so mi mi la, so mi 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 do do fa mi, so mi mi la, so mi 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 do re re mi, so that I don't forget it. And okay, I met him, and then that is history. But as I was coming back to Kampala in a taxi, I was singing those words and the solfas. So when I reached my office and with my colleagues, the people I formed the group with, we started working on it. I put the body on it, we put in the instruments, and the song came out.
Right.
But we took time before recording it, because I wrote it in 1982, but we took 5 years before we recorded it. We recorded it in Nairobi in 1987. And
now that you say that you recorded it in Nairobi, I understand you also have a story as to why, from what I know, what I've known, is that most of your songs were not recorded from Uganda at that time.
Yes.
And I understand it was with technology, exposure, but in today's music industry, how do you perceive today's music industry? What is your view on today's music industry?
Okay, we have some very good composers.
Right.
They write very good music. But the problem we have is that we start with technology when we are forming when we are composing the song. It's always good not to start employing the technology, so that the art comes from, it's a God-given talent. You come out with the music you have, then technology improves what you have already composed. That's the problem now. We have very good singers, very good writers, but the problem, they start with employing the instruments at an early stage before concentrating on the vocals, the lyrics. And when you put in a lot of instruments, you get carried away and get impressed that the song is good. It can be good technologically with the instruments, but then the lyrical content needs to be given a revisit.
Right.
Yes.
Are there any particular Ugandan artists that you appreciate in this day and age?
Oh, yes. There are very many whom I appreciate. But I'm not going to mention names because I am an elder. I'm a parent to them. So I don't want to show that I prefer this one or to this one or this one. So, but there are many who are good.
Yes.
But sometimes their songs are not given good time.
Right. And
good ideas. That's why I always advise that don't work on the song alone or with the producer, whom I call a programmer. Work with a group of people whom you know can help you lyrically and musically.
Right.
Yes.
Very profound indeed. Do you have a question? Are you a creative? This is a moment for you to learn, right? 0709-602-592 is the WhatsApp number to get in touch and learn something. Ask away or share your opinion. Now, I will ask you, what is that one profound message you would want today's Ugandan music industry to have from you? Even if the Lord said that today is the day, you would want them to remember you for that one message.
The one message would be, work as a team, don't work alone.
Very profound.
Yes.
Very profound.
Work as a team.
Do not work alone.
Don't work alone.
How do you feel being interviewed by your daughter?
I feel okay. As a parent, I'm happy about it.
I know.
It's just God's grace.
Yeah, one in a lifetime
Yes.
opportunity.
Sure.
Let's talk about the 23rd of May 2025. You have a concert.
Wow.
How prepared are you? What have you prepared for us?
We've prepared a musical conversation.
Right.
Because it's a journey. You, the people, have been part of it. So we're going to have that concert